Hello and welcome to another scene set in the Desert of Dark Crusade Season 2. This evening we have Iohanna of Clan Toriad, who has been summoned. By whom she does not know. But summoned she has been. The compulsion of which is fairly strong, but not so much that she hasn't been able to get up a fairly sized retinue of guardsmen to follow her into the darkness that is soon to engulf her, and has taken off directly north of her haven within the guild halls, straight into the merchants district, the source of all her happiness and woes, or at least a lot of them.
Yes, it is.
Just before Iohanna thinks, oh god, I'm going to have to cross this river, fortunately, the compulsion takes her elsewhere. And you can feel it you can feel the sensation, kind of like, it's a weird sensation in your chest that kind of grows as you get closer, almost like a magnet. Like you literally feel like you're being pulled in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not able to visualize who it is. Yeah. As you get closer to your destination within the Merchants District, it's the same old show of you seeing curious faces and eyes just kind of gazing at you. The Merchants District is fairly ironclad in its city watch presence. And it's needless to say, perhaps fairly intimidating to be back here after everything that's happened, and to see it as militarized as it's always been, at least for a merchant's district. You begin feeling the sensation grow, and you're actually just drawn to a simple shop on the west side. It doesn't look particularly grand, interesting. Big. It looks like it's one of the lower end shops in the district. It is its own building, but it's small.
Is it one that I would recognize?
Depends. What kind of things do you buy?
Iohanna does a lot of shopping around. She likes to shop as much as she likes to buy. But she tends to buy mostly scholarly things, or furnishings for her house, or small gifts for people. I don't know. Does it have a sign saying what sort of a shop it is?
Let's see what kind of shop it is. Okay, you got 5. Okay. Well, perhaps you do recognize this place then. Yeah, this is a shop that deals in yeah, probably artisans' tools. So
Okay.
maybe you have been here in the past because that was a really good chance die roll for you.
Okay.
Yeah, you've been here before. It's not necessarily. It's kind of like a little hidden gem in some ways.
And she feels compelled to go in.
Oh yeah.
Does it seem like it's probably big enough inside to accommodate a sizable guard?
How many guards?
I'm gonna say she probably brought at least 5 with her.
Okay.
But she would leave at least one outside to guard the carriage.
It'd be pretty crowded.
Well, that's not bad. Okay, she is going to take 4 of them in with her and crowd the place.
Okay. There are about just as many guards inside the shop.
Okay, interesting. So Johanna steps inside with her hands folded nearly in front of her.
Yeah, I
No,
thought you
actually,
would say that because that is extremely odd and makes no sense.
with her hands, they're actually kind of twisted into the fabric, discreetly twisted into the dark folds of her her habit, and has gestured for the guards to follow her. And once inside, she stops and looks around, surrounded by her own people. With
At this point, you feel a pretty strong sensation to head into the room, which is just it's like a back room. It's like kind of there's the what do you call it? The till the customer area, you know, where you pay for everything. And you know, just to the right of that, where the little kind of door is for the shopkeeper to walk in and out. He does look a little bit perturbed at all the guards now in this room, for the record.
So are there 4 guards inside? Is that right?
There's 4 guards, a shopkeeper, and his apprentice. So he's like, what the actual?
Do they look like they're his guards? They look like they're guarding him, or does he look? Should I roll to see if his body language kind of says what are these guys doing here too?
Yeah, roll it.
Okay. Perception, empathy.
Yeah.
And she is going to activate Auspex because she doesn't know what's happening and is quite wary at the moment. Let's see. Five successes on him.
Okay, he looks like he'd rather just not being. He looks like he'd rather just not pay attention to any of this.
Interesting. Okay.
Like he's trying very, very hard to ignore all of the armed men in this room, and the potential extreme danger just poses to his life, almost as if he's been told to not pay attention to this because you know.
Because there's vampire business at work.
Yeah, either he's just like, fuck it, this is beyond beyond my pay grade. I'm just not gonna deal with this. This isn't my ship. Or he's the sort of kind of some people do react with a sort of acceptance to absurd situations. This does not necessarily strike you with that because you can definitely detect and still like anxiousness about him in the sense that he still seems a bit touchy, a bit scared about what's going on, a bit uncomfortable. But he's trying very hard to ignore it. Just just, keep your head down, deal with the actual customers. There aren't really many customers in the store with all these armed men in here. I mean, one, it's very crowded. There's one guy, he's got a queue of 2 people, he's just serving one guy, and then they leave and no one else comes in, and there's the other guy. Meanwhile, you're just heading into the back room. Surprisingly, he completely ignores this.
Okay, so there's no obstacles to her heading straight back there.
No, weirdly enough, no one reacts, not even the only person who seems to react to you heading towards the back room at all is it's effectively the apprentice, the young boy who's just kind of his head just kind of immediately shoots off in the direction as in what the fuck? But pretty much everyone, including your guards, just kind of look in his direction, and then he's just shit, and just kind of gets back to work because he can't take on about almost or just over half a dozen armed men who are almost twice his size. He's not. He is very protective of this place, but he's also not suicidal. He does go to the shopkeep, and then you see them kind of briefly exchange words, and they kind of regard everyone in the room suspiciously. The guards in this room prevent your guards from entering with you.
Okay.
Are these people galled to you? How passionately do they feel about you remaining at your side?
If the other guards in the room move to stop them, Iohanna will raise a hand and gesture them back outside.
Okay.
She will not put their loyalty to the test. They're not cold to her.
Oh shit! That's pretty happy for
Are you sure you're not supposed to put a 1 in front of that?
No, because I rolled a D1. Okay. Yeah, after all, I'll double check this is actually working properly.
Yeah, I think you might have to put a 1d4.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay. I may have fucked up the D5 then, but oh well. Okay, so
when the D4 came up with Max, I was like, man, I'm either real lucky today or there's something wrong with your formula.
I'm doing it wrong. You get 3. Okay, well, 3 of the guards insist not on staying with you, but they'll remain within the building.
Okay.
They'll find some excuse to stay within the building on your behalf, but they won't enter with you, mainly because the one who tries, there is immediate or very real confrontation.
Okay. And may I roll some sort of charisma or manipulation to be reassuring to these nice shopkeepers? To give them just kind of a "this is okay" smile?
Yeah. Make it +2 diff because animate shadow makes you creepy.
Okay. And what am I rolling? Charisma anything?
Charisma subterfuge probably.
Okay. Oh my god. I should have spent willpower.
I made it difficulty 8 because of your shadow, so that's a botch of 4 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh god. Iohanna's attentions are so good. Olo.
I actually have to take a moment to pause. Because that is... I've only ever botched this bad twice. One time was when I rolled 4 d10s and all of them came up once. And the other time was when Auric did a thing. And turned out to be really fucking bad at that thing because he botched by 4 degrees. Okay. Okay, I know what's going to happen. The shopkeeper, you're talking to the shopkeeper. Yeah, you try and calm him down. You try and be nice. You try and calm him down. I mean, he's technically calm, but he's obviously uncomfortable here. And you can't reach out to him, try and put him at ease the whole situation. He clearly wasn't expecting this many people who are all like incredibly well armed.
Mm-hmm. She's not saying anything. She's just giving him like a smile.
Oh, a smile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looks at your smile, and then you see his eye shift to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Do you look in his direction?
Like, do I glance at where he's looking?
Yeah, your shadow's giving him a big toothy grin.
Oh.
As he kind of morphs around the wall, and he just kind of immediately, like, his back stiffens up. Like, suddenly there is kind of emotion, like his emotional state is no longer suppressed. Like, he almost topples backwards for a moment. His apprentice notices this as well, and the merchant says, "Fuck it, I didn't get paid this much to let a fucking witch in my store," and
no,
immediately leaps over the counter. The altar boy just grabs something on hand. Like, it looks like he just kind of grabs a chair and holds it up to you, and just says, "Get the fucking watch! Get the fucking watch!" to the guards. He says as he kind of like runs out of the building. The guards.
Wait, is he running out of the building?
He runs to get City Watch.
Iohanna would like to keep him from running out of the building.
Okay, yeah, you can roll initiative at this stage if you want.
Yeah, I guess we're doing that. I guess we're doing that. Oh.
Okay, so I need to roll.
Not ideal.
1d10 plus 3. Holy shit. There's a possibility this guy beats you to the fucking door.
Hang on. I almost rolled a d20. That would have been fun.
And I need to roll for
beat me to the door.
Poor innocent. Wow. Okay, you're fine. You're fine. So it's the shopkeeper is the guy on 13 initiative. The boy is the apprentice is the guy on 12 initiative.
Okay. And we want to put my guards in there.
Maybe.
Oh my goodness.
I will run as a collective because they'll all work on this initiative. I'll say they're on -1 dex because they're wearing armor, which means they only get. Yeah, they'd only get like their noobs, so they only get this. The generic dudes, so they're going last. I think it's fair to say that they are incredibly caught off guard by the situation.
Sure.
Oh God.
So I have a question about entrancement.
Yeah.
Since this is about to be extremely relevant, it doesn't say how. It says that people might react with negative emotions if they understand they've been bewitched. Is that once it wears off, Are people very aware that they've been entranced?
Normally, no. Mortals don't get to roll against detecting entrancement in this venue. Normally, humans will have no idea what you're doing to them. Entrancement has no real like tell. There's no, doesn't have a giveaway to it, and it's very subtle. This guy does think you're a witch, though, which is technically true.
Yes.
Which could impact that in some fashion. Which means he'll get to roll to see if he's being bewitched because he believes you to have mystical power and to be using it because the animate shadow is animate and is creepy as hell.
Sure.
The only reason these guards have not reacted in a similar fashion is because 4 of them will roll to you and the other 4, well, you're not sure why they're not reacting, but they're not.
Sure. Iohanna has some guesses about why they're not reacting, but it has to do with the fact that she's been summoned.
Oh yeah. You're still being summoned. In many ways, you're not going to care about this. You're still going to approach the back room.
Okay, that's fair. She cares very much about this.
I'll give you an action. This will basically be 1 round of combat because you'll effectively be leaving it as soon as this action is over because someone compels you regardless. If it were only 1 or 2 successes, you could be thwarted by this, but 3 or 3 successes, you're not going to be phased by this. If the person were attacking you, it might be a bigger deal. But 3 successes, you approach with reasonable speed and you're going to overcome most obstacles.
Sure.
And this guy isn't actually preventing you from going to where you need to go. He just he's just panicking in the sight of an obvious supernatural effect that is hampering you.
Okay. I am going to use awe then.
1 second. Or doesn't override self-preservation.
It what?
Or doesn't override self-preservation. Because we're in combat, or won't have an effect.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, or breaks if you enter combat, or if someone feels endangered.
Okay, that's good to know. Oh, I'm so fucked. I need him to not get the city guard. Okay, well, she is going to use summon instead then. Yes.
Okay. You've only briefly met this man, so it'll be a div 7. You have met him, so you can use it on him.
Okay. Hello, sir. I've met you, and now everything is going terrible, and I feel very bad about it.
And I want to meet you again, so I can apologize. Okay.
Let's see. Okay. And you said div 7.
He will get to roll against this. His dice pool for this is not great because he is a measly mortal and has no idea what the fuck is happening.
Oh, are you kidding me? Well, it's not a botch. Dear God, look at all those ones. It's not a botch, but it is definitely a failure. He does not come back.
Man, Orsini is leaving his mark, it seems.
He has ruined her. Orsini has ruined her.
You summon him.
Thank God it's not a 5-1 botch.
Do you know what's really funny about summon? Is that you don't actually know if you succeed at it or not until the person comes to you or doesn't. So you summon him, and you spend the blood as normal. You invoke the power. You know, you're pretty good at summoning. You have like, you're pretty practiced at this. And you know, you can hear him screaming off, and the screaming just continues to grow fainter. He doesn't seem to be coming back.
It's gonna be a long night.
yeah, you're gonna be. Your
Oh,
guards
that's
will
gonna be
volunteer to go fetch him if it's any consolation.
man. My guards want. I feel like dragging a man through the streets is much more. Yeah, they don't really have any legal authority to drag anyone through the streets.
No, they could try and talk him down.
Would I have any idea about the social skills of my guards and whether that's likely? I feel like that would be something Johanna would probably care deeply about.
Are you saying you're acting out of pity or compassion? No.
No, this is entirely self-preservation.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely self-preservation. So, sorry, what is it you wanted to know about your guards?
Whether they have any chance of probably talking him down, whether they have the social skills to talk him down.
I mean, they hit people really hard with a sword.
Yeah, that's kind of what you
They're not
thought.
exactly, they're not exactly courtiers or um, or or salesmen, But I mean, then again, you're a spokesman, and that didn't turn out too well.
The dice are like, how many dice do you have? Guess how many of those can be ones? All of them.
Look at all those eights. Oh, what eights? Exactly.
What eights? Yeah.
So you don't have very long to answer, so I will have to pressure you on this because
no, she won't. She won't send them.
You because of this. Okay, so it'll just wait in the building for you.
Yeah. She'll be like, I'll be back. And then she's going to head into the back to find out who wants her here. She does not look pleased. She is wearing a face that is a very small smile. The kind of smile that you kill people with.
You open the door. As you open the door, you you continue to hear a ruckus happening in the front room as you kind of, transition. The apprentice boy's still like panicking to, fuck, he's got a chair, he's pointing the legs at you like he's trying to fucking, looks like he was trying to like use it as a shield and then back off and then realized, he's backed up against the fucking, against effectively the till area, so, he can't move. As you enter, you feel the effects of summoning subside. You also realize that no one is there that you can see. Roll me perception alertness.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I assume you close the door to prevent apprentice boy from like trying to stake you with 4 chair legs.
Apprentice boy may come try and stake me with 4 chair legs. She would rather that than that he ran into the street, so.
He's trying to get the fuck away from you.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 successes. Someone was absolutely here just seconds ago. Like, there was stuff being moved. You could even hear it as you opened the door.
Okay.
This appears to be a back room, like where all administrative activities of the business take place. You can see parchment on shelves.
Mm-hmm.
You can see a small desk with a feather quill, an ink pot, and a ledger.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead.
What do you do? So what you do within the next minute or so?
Okay, so she's been summoned here, and there's no one here when she gets here. Can I roll? Is there another door in the room?
No. This is the only door into the room.
Okay.
Someone was absolutely here a moment ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's obvious evidence of that fact. Like, stuff has clearly been moved. You could hear sounds as you open the door that weren't from, it wasn't particularly loud considering the absolute chaos that was happening in the main room. Someone literally ran out of the store shouting, "Witch, witch, she's a witch."
I've been called a witch so often lately, it's not nice.
No. The world of darkness is not very nice.
So Iohanna is going to, standing by the door in this room that contains no one but her, say in an icy voice with an icy expression, "That seems extremely inconsiderate." And then she's going to turn and go back out the door.
Okay, you turn around.
Mm-hmm.
Your initiative is fat. Well, Altar Boy gets to throw a chair at you now, so let's see how that goes.
You say he's going to throw a chair at me?
Throw a chair at you and try and run.
Oh no.
He actually throws a fucking chair at you, okay?
Not the chair.
I need to check how much damage chairs do. How much damage do chairs do? Is an actual. Literally know if I punch that. See how much damage do chairs do. Club mace, mega. There is one for improvised weapons. I know it. I've seen it before. Oh, my heavy might be in. 1 sec. I'm gonna have to open up the original V20. I know that has the one for tables. There we go. Combat systems. Ranged weapons. Melee weapons. Sorry, I will find it, I promise.
Mm-hmm, no worries.
Sap, club, knife, sword, axe, stake.
Chair.
There is one for chairs. I don't know where it's gone. I know it's there. It exists. But I can't find it. He's for okay, I can't find it for some reason. That's annoying. That's really really frustrating. Okay. Instead, then, I think what we're going to do is we'll just treat it as his strength +2 plus 1 of his successes in bashing damage. Because it's a chair. That's 5 bashing with the chair.
I get to soak it, yes?
You get to roll soak, yeah. For your stamina and your fortitude.
Oh my goodness. What is
He
happening tonight?
fucking slings that chair at you. Like his arms are like a fucking it's a fucking onager. They just overarch and just send this chair soaring in your direction. You soak 2, you've taken 5, 3 divided by 2 is 1.5 truncated. You take 1 bashing from this guy throwing a chair at you.
Okay.
Ouch. A chair was fucking thrown at you, and he takes a half movement action to fucking bolt. As I said, it's a small shop, he can make it to the door. Door's actually closed. He doesn't really say anything, he just fucking runs for it.
Are the other guards still in here?
Yeah, they're kind of looking around, they will try and stop him.
They do or don't?
Both set of guards will try and stop him. Because there's 8 of them, and he's just a guy, I'm just going to say they grab him. Okay. I'm not going to roll 8 times to see if they grab him. They do. Again, they're built to fight. He's not. He's a fucking, he's learning how to draw and paint shit and tools and use these tools. He doesn't know how to fight. In fact, it's quite remarkable he hit you with a chair at all. In fact, to hit you that hard is almost commendable in a way. Your newest warrior door, as he's kind of grabbed and panics and has to be gagged. But the guards actually work together to stop him. There's a bit of there's obvious tension between the two parties.
Sure.
They both basically race to get the boy. They're not really working with each other, and it's really more due to the fact that they have a mutual interest in stopping this panicking child from leaving the building.
So Iohanna was hit quite hard with a chair. Quite hard with a chair. She had 4 guards in the room and has pretty good faith that they will keep him in the room. So when he hits her with the chair, she goes down. She only took one bashing total, but
you're only a bruise, but she healed your wound.
Drops like a no, she's not healing it. She's definitely not healing it. She drops with a flair for the dramatic, like a normal person who just got bashed with a chair. And is going to kneel there moaning for an appropriate amount of time.
Okay.
Until she pulls herself back up to her feet and gives him the worst hurt puppy dog look. How could you? Why would you? Why would you hit me with a chair?
Why would you throw a chair at an innocent nun?
Why would you throw a chair at an innocent nun?
She's your dear sister. Unfortunately, your shadow is not really cooperative at all. Botch of 4 degrees. So you won't be able to roll for this.
Okay.
It's not convincing to him, at least, just because your shadow is just not cooperative at all. However, because you spend a fair amount of time kind of just, playing dead and then kind of getting up, as if you've been seriously wounded, it does give a bit of time for what happens next to happen.
Okay.
You see a man walk in the door.
Walk in the front door?
Walk in the front door. The door is open. He slams it shut.
Oh, good. Oh, good. My night's getting so good.
Can you please roll me perception awareness again?
Yes.
Everyone in the room, including your guards, immediately defers to him.
Defers?
Immediately, everyone and the apprentice and you. But you need to roll perception awareness to realize what's going on.
Okay. Standard diff?
Standard diff to 6.
Modified by aspects?
No.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
Okay. I'm going to describe
No
to
idea.
you what he appears as before you right now.
I mean, it shouldn't have been standard diff. She loves this guy anyway. I'll defer to him all day.
Currently, you have universal respect, devotion, and fear for this person.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm.
Those with weak wills in the room, which is basically everybody but you, will scramble to obey their every whim, and even the most courageous will find it almost impossible to deny them, which would be you. Currently,
Okay.
he is so formidable that you would dare not risk his displeasure. If you wish to do anything, to speak against him, to act against him, to do anything that would be against his interests as you understand them, you must roll courage at a difficulty of... I think it is what I think it is. Difficulty of 9.
Okay.
You cannot botch that roll, though. You may make it as many times as you
That's
wish.
good because I have a great history tonight.
Yes.
Okay, so as soon as he walks in, Iohanna is going to, she's already straightened up, but she's going to drop into a deep and courtly curtsy and stay there.
He points to the apprentice boy, the 2 guards, 2 from your group, immediately release him. And he says to the altar boy, "You lock the door." And as he scrambles behind the till, quite literally, like as if he's just been completely broken down.
Feel your pain, boy.
The Seneschal just seems to completely ignore your curtsy, just grabs you by the shoulder, and then just kind of begins dragging you into the room.
Okay. Iohanna is dragged.
He drags you into the room with his enormous strength and slams the door shut so much that it echoes. He then literally lifts you up with one hand via the shoulder, and then just kind of forcibly puts you onto a chair, and then he will just stand in front of you. He doesn't sit at the desk in the room. You make this very hard on yourself, but spectacularly easy for the rest of us.
She is not pleased to be in a chair in front of a La Sombra again. Even this La Sombra. And her heart is breaking in extremely familiar ways a second time. She's going to fold her hands in her lap, demurely, and sit straight and study him. Perhaps you will explain what this is that I have made so easy.
The silence was broken in our domain. The silence was broken within our domain. Our domain was breached. And one of our most prominent members is missing. Now, I wonder how the sheriff would like to hear this.
I beg your
Perhaps we
pardon.
should start with the first tradition to the sixth, or maybe we should do it in reverse, or just handle it in chronological order. I'm sure the death of Orsini is weighing very heavily on people's minds right now.
The what? The what? She actually does repeat herself, because hearing that Orsini is dead. Do you know if a blood bond is broken by death?
Yes.
Okay, so she's quite aware that he's not dead based on the fact that her heart yearns, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. She is terrified and in awe of this man again, but what he says makes no sense to her, and she does repeat herself.
I could have you destroyed for any number of reason fractions. Instead, I now have a third.
My lord, you are the right hand of the prince. You could have had me destroyed the moment I walked in the city if you pleased. I'm well aware of your power. What do you mean, the death of Orsini?
One night, someone went to visit Orsini. Within 24 hours, a second individual showed up, and then he was never seen again. His brood reports that he is deceased. That is a complete lie. And he's going to roll.
Okay.
Gets 11d10. This is also his specialty, because of course it is.
Because of course it is. Perception, empathy, yes?
Yeah, he gets 8 successes to the roll.
Does aspects apply?
Yes. It doesn't help you, like, he can be lying, and you wouldn't be able to tell it was necessarily a lie more than the statement itself, like things wrong with the statement. It's not, you don't lie. A lie detector is actually several discipline powers. So
sure.
You'd be able to tell that there are things perhaps wrong with the statement, things about his emotional state, things that perhaps seem off. But okay. You wouldn't. Its empathy doesn't work as a lie detector.
Are you kidding me? Okay.
It doesn't matter anyway. 8 successes to 0. He is dead serious.
My lord, you have been lied to.
He gestures with one arm and then the other, as if, and then acts as if he's like weighing.
Say that again?
As if he's weighing like these invisible objects in his hand. Your appeal falls flat as his left hand just kind of lowers, as if like it's being weighed down, like a set of scales.
Considering the accusations are false, perhaps you will enlighten me as to what I have been accused of.
You state the accusations are false, yet all evidence points to your guilt in the matter. This is notwithstanding the domain breach and the just ever so recently breach of the silence that I had to leave my post to resolve personally.
This I acknowledge, and I am deeply sorry for it. I was under the effects of someone's machinations, as I have been for many nights now. And yet I still regret that I caused any inconvenience to you. But I have broken no domain. I have certainly murdered no one, particularly not Orsini.
We are aware that violence occurred within the domain.
Yes. Yes, in fact. Orsini's childer cut my leg off as I attempted to leave without doing him insult. Violence certainly occurred within the domain.
Perhaps that was because it was broken.
I see.
That said, your mentor didn't exactly help matters.
Please explain.
I have no need to explain what you're witness to, surely.
Oh no, my lord, you do. I have not seen these lies to which you have been party. I should like to know.
You need to roll courage for that. Difficulty.
Oh, okay. You're right.
If you wish to oppose him,
Mhm.
you must roll courage difficulty 9 at any time you wish to oppose him.
Here comes a botch. Iohanna's about to cry.
Oh my god, you make it. Okay, you can say that. Yeah,
okay.
You say that. You can absolutely say that.
But she is going to follow it up by, she stops and tips her head and says, please. I recognize that you've been told untruths, since they clearly are not the night that I experienced. I deserve to know what has been said about me.
My office has no such obligation. Particularly one who is known to break for silence.
I see. I see. My reputation as a breach of the silence, and she gestures to her shadow, certainly precedes me, and I cannot disagree. And yet I am no murderer, nor domain breaker. I maintain my innocence, but you've said I have made things very easy for you. So please tell me what it is you seek.
That depends very much on how far you're willing to go to atone.
To atone for whom? To mend your good opinion of me, the prince's?
The clan.
She stares at him for a long, long moment. Maybe a little too long, because this is a face that she particularly enjoys staring at. And then she's going to look away and, like, quite distinctly lower her eyes.
Destroyed ancilla, wounded brood. In a city where the peace can be barely kept for an evening without someone needlessly stepping on someone else's toes.
Orsini is not dead.
What evidence do you have to prove this?
The blood in my veins would know if he died. He was alive, quite alive, and screaming after me. The fuss created was entirely Orsini's doing. I would not have willingly spilled such a mess into the streets. When I left Orsini's presence, he was quite alive and screaming imprecations at me. My mentor will attest. His servants will attest. And I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that he lives. I will know it for many years.
I think you'll find your mentor will be much, much more compliant than you have been. If he can be called a mentor as such.
Oh, he's insulting her mentor. Her eyes snap back to his face. Do you mean he will lie for you?
That's a courage roll, madam.
You're right.
Oh, here we go. Oh, shit. Johanna's like, bitch, bring it. I can love you and hate you at the same time.
Yes, you literally can.
I have to check my road real fast. Just because I feel like it might be relevant soon. She's legit asking the question though. She's not snarking him. She's actually asking him if that's what he means. And waits for an answer.
There's only one deceiver within this room.
He said there's only one deceiver in this room?
Mm-hmm. He will continue, but this is the point entirely. How much are you willing to pay to atone yourself in the eyes of my clan?
She sits back and studies him.
It is not my way to drive the law upon someone like a hammer onto a nail. If the nail can simply be persuaded to remain seated.
Do you speak for your clan in this, then? Whatever agreement I make with you tonight. So shall your clan speak. This meeting is known to your clan. Whatever personal feelings they may have about the lies that have been told me.
Whether or not anyone is aware of this meeting is largely irrelevant. What is relevant and what will be known, however, will be the outcome. And I see the question has still not been answered.
It is a difficult question. I care very deeply for the opinions of many of your clan, yourself included.
I believe you are familiar with the concept of the blood boon.
She closes her eyes. Oh, yes. Intimately.
One that was divided thanks to your mentor, the gracious man that he is. And then he just kind of opens both his palms from like he has his hands steepled, and then they just kind of unlock and open up, as if to say, "Ball's in your court."
My goodness. I've been forced to drink so much of the somber blood these nights. I would think at least my shadow would take pity.
If there's one thing your shadow isn't doing right now, it's taking pity.
It what?
If there's one thing your shadow isn't doing right now, it's taking pity.
I am certain.
As for norm for interactions with many of your somber friends, your shadow is quite fixed in its current position. I never said that was a particularly dignified position, but it is a position.
That's funny. She's going to pass a hand over her head just briefly, readjusting her veil.
Yeah, I'll also give you this for free. Before you notice some level, you notice it's very subtle, but there was a degree of exertion from Ulrich to some extent. Like you could tell that, he'd effectively lost a function in one of his arms. As you could tell, he was obviously partially focusing his will on your shadow. There is no such exertion from the Seneschal.
Okay, interesting.
He seems to just not care at all. There appears to be no real effort being put into restraining your shadow. If he's doing that at all, like he's talking to you completely normally, it's possible it's not even him. That's the level of complete ambivalence we're talking about.
My lord, you're familiar with my road? And my mentors?
I'm familiar with your mentors.
She stops and looks up. Is he just throwing shade? Or does he actually think she's not on that road?
I know, he just take it how you will, actually.
Okay.
You can take that as an insult. You can take that.
Can she roll perception empathy? Because she cares what this man thinks about her.
Aww.
Sorry, it's true. She does. This beautiful man.
This beautiful man who is totally not a horrible, horrible monster.
She has 6 successes.
I mean, yeah, he's not really throwing shade. He definitely interrupted you. He's definitely asserting control over the conversation, which he has been doing this entire time through unnatural force of will. But you don't understand it. But it just seemed like a genuine statement, actually. Very plain. It was very plain in the way he said it.
Okay, because he asked her, and she told him what her road was. when they first met.
Yeah. In that sense, you could consider it subtle shade.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
but he doesn't seem to apply it as such. In fact, the way you could view this is it could be a very real question as to whether you've changed your road entire. After all, these things do happen, and you are known to be an initiate of your road, so it is possible. Of course, this could also be considered something of an insult, but there is a point to be made. It's a bit vague.
So I hope you'll not take it with undue weight when I say my mentor risks his life to prevent a blood bond, one which Orsini was extremely close to completing.
Blood boons can be traded for blood bonds. That is why they are named as such. It is a boon as significant as one's spilt blood.
Are you suggesting, perhaps, that the time I have already spent might be counted towards my sentence? She raises a brow.
No.
I thought not. In which case you suggest that if I offer you a blood boon, you will return to your clan and tell them that I am guilty and I wish to make atonement?
Should Fennell continue to remain seated, it will be able to go about its business as any other with a city.
Sorry, what did he say?
He said, should Fennell be convinced to remain seated, it will be able to go about its business as any other. Standing within the city would not be impacted. However, I can very much guarantee should your offer be refused. Well, I suppose it's a moot point.
No, please. Please explain.
What do you expect to happen?
I am more curious about what you expect to happen, my lord. I am innocent of all charges.
And I'm telling you to answer my question.
She stares at him for a long moment, just kind of struck by him.
Nah, I can tell you right now, with the powers that he's using, he's saying jump, and you're being you are replying with how high. Because
Okay.
no offense, but there is
No, that's fair.
a
That's
very
fair.
significant effect in play right now, like all encompassing.
Okay. Okay. In that case, she's going to sit back and fold her hands in her lap and say, "As you say, my lord."
I haven't. I stated it would be a moot point. I didn't state what the outcome would be. So tell me what you expect the outcome to be.
I expect you'll destroy me. I can only imagine destruction to be a threat worthy of what you have offered?
I could.
I know, my lord. And you're the second La Sombra to offer it to me in some few weeks.
I have not offered you destruction. I would not destroy you.
No?
Can you imagine why I would not do that? I can imagine a far more equitable outcome that does not involve your destruction. In fact, your destruction would be something of a loss. It would certainly be a waste of my time.
Yes, it would. I have meant you and your clan no ill will. And I would be an ally by choice. Offered the opportunity. You waste your own time, my lord.
You're gonna have to roll majesty for the roll courage. Sorry,
Okay.
because pretty much anyone who's watching this knows what power the Seneschal is using.
You said what, Stiff?
9.
You. There you go.
Oh my god, you can! You absolute monster, you! Difficulty 9 roll. You're making this shit.
Three times.
Holy shit!
The summer like the summer. Oh my god, it's amazing.
There are no fucks given by Iohanna.
Oh goodness.
That depends on your response to this, because I can either take the very blunt and, well, very equitable route for me. Either way, from this interaction, I benefit immensely. There is no doubt of that here. This is not for myself, frankly. I could simply acquire what I want at any time regarding yourself.
Yes, my lord. You could.
I'm having this conversation with yourself to present you with a choice. A mercy I can assure you many princes or seneschals would not give you, as I'm sure you're aware.
I'm well aware. My question is, what then will be told of me outside this room? If I offer you a blood boon, for those who do not know what has happened?
Not myself, the clan. I do not wish to drop any misunderstandings.
And what shall you say I have received in return?
You will have received a refuge from the alternative, which is not death. But I've already told you what blood boons might be exchanged for.
Yes. And what shall we put about that the alternative is? Am I to say I've been tried and convicted of murder, of domain breach, of an attack on the peace in the city?
Why, I can say that either way, your good name would not be tarnished. It is not your reputation at risk. Well, possibly if worse comes to worst, but doubtful, in all honesty.
It is, in fact, my reputation which is at stake, unless I grossly misunderstand you.
Not at all, not citywide. Why would I allow that to happen? It is not in my interests.
I see.
It is certainly not in the clan's interests.
No.
That would be a grossly foolish thing to do, even if it were to be deserved.
Yes, and I believe I have been well known as a voice for peace in the city, for respect for other clans.
And a voice for peace you will continue to be, and one that would be heard,
Sorry, what did he say?
and
That
one
was
that
one.
would be heard.
I think perhaps you referenced something I do not understand. Be frank with me, my lord.
It is very disappointing. I can either bond you in recompense for the crimes committed within our domain, or you can overclan a blood boon instead.
Your clan has already taken from me quite a deep bond. In the interests of peace, in the interests of your clan, in fact, I have already remained silent.
Should you have spoken out against your our clan or our members, I can assure you we would not be having this conversation, and your voice would no longer be heard, and then a voice for peace would be lost, which serves no one.
I hope you'll tell Madeline. She was sick at heart.
Sick at heart.
Yes.
So, what would your answer be?
My lord, I still fail to understand precisely the offer. You have asked me to give you my word, to give you my bond, a boon, and you have not told me what exactly the terms are. For what leaves this room is important. I am an Ancilla of Clan Toreador, and my reputation is important. I do not give boons. With no reason.
You already have crimes listed before you. Several can be verified, all of which can be verified, to be completely frank.
None are true. I maintain my innocence. I would not like to belabor the point. But I am innocent. And I shall not see myself so accused.
Well, such a shame that you are. Nonetheless, those are your two options. You may choose between them, but you have no other alternative. So if you continue to bicker about the point, then I will consider it a refusal. And then I shall have to force the law in a manner which I very much so despise. And one that honestly does not benefit you nearly as much. In fact, truth be told, I could simply bond you and then have you accept the blood boon regardless.
Yes, my lord, that seems to be the way of things.
So you have a very obvious option in front of you that is your most optimal.
In which case, my lord, I bow before the law.
Oh, see, because the Seneschal would get this, because his empathy and his expression is great.
Mm-hmm.
Is she saying she refuses or she accepts?
She accepts. She's accepting.
Okay. Very well. Then I'll see to it that the matter is dealt with appropriately. Your standing will not be affected by the city whatsoever. Timeless Umbra will add a blood boon from yourself. Will, of course, take measures to ensure that you may serve your due in a relative safety. OC keyword relative. I'll just give you that one for free. And we'll do our utmost to ensure that your voice within this city is heard.
Oh, yes.
Peace is something that cannot be endorsed enough. It is good to see one who espouses it so strongly.
I dare say you have no idea.
I will say this though. One second, he's going to do one more thing. Because just as you think, he couldn't be a big enough asshole. What's your current willpower?
Oh, I have to check. Hang on.
You gained one from this month. I think you might be on 5.
I also think so, but I don't remember where I was.
I know you spent 2 in your combat Volsini.
Was this the... Oops. Yes. Okay. So yes, she'd be at 5.
Okay. Well, that is a garbage roll for him.
And what is he rolling?
That's a good question.
Okay.
Actually, also roll me perception awareness difficulty 8.
Okay.
Auspex doesn't come into play here.
Yes.
Okay, he just did another thing. Kind of had to tell in like the midst of everything that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
He did a thing here, but he also, Orsini was very much removed from the situation. Destroyed, we know. And you're very much inclined to believe that statement, which makes you feel very uncomfortable because there is a direct contradiction.
Yeah,
Should be noted this effect only lasts for the night. You'll still know that, but you're very conflicted right now because you have evidence to the contrary in your in your heart. So it
when
kind
he
of makes
says
you
that,
wonder if
her face just twists in agony. Like she looks like this is literally the worst part of her night. She looks absolutely agonized by
and
this
because
revelation.
he got 8 successes like beforehand, yeah, he seems completely genuine. Like he seems genuinely honest. Like as in, yeah, we know he's dead. Like don't bullshit that sort of like. But look on your face. Shows potential for atonement, which pleases us. We find your acceptance of our terms most gracious. As we said, we'll do our utmost to ensure that you are a heard voice within the city. And ensure the safety from those that would so ungraciously take it away from you. Now, is there anything else you would like to ask? He baits you in. It's almost as if he's asking for it.
She's not watching him now. She's still sitting quite straight with her hands folded in her lap, and she's staring at her knees with her head kind of tipped to one side just slightly. Like a dog listening for something. And she just says, only to be left alone in my grief. I thank you for stopping the shopkeep.
It is my duty as per the traditions of Cain himself.
That does not mean it would be at all reasonable for me to be ungrateful.
You are gracious as always.
Yes, my lord.
He gives like a light smile as if like, you've pleased me.
She's not even looking. You broke her heart.
Oh.
She's watching her hands and listening for something.
It's just literally a moment of silence as he kind of analyzes her. Which I'll actually have him roll for. And it's his specialty.
She's going to roll her manip sub because dignity.
6 successes.
She only has 3. So, wow. She is sitting quite with quite careful dignity, not stiff, graceful dignity. But she looks broken. She has been lied to and like the very core of herself turned against herself. And it has not yet had time to ferment into anger. So right now she looks very much like she's listening for
this does actually bring up an interesting point. You have been horribly mistreated, and you're aware of this fact. Could you please roll me your self-control stat?
Oh, yes. Difficulty?
I will just check for you.
With her flaw in mind. Oh no.
Probably be. Yes, it's your floor as well. Your floor increases the difficulty to resist by 1, right? Okay, no, you still make it. Oh no, wait, no, you don't. This is alright. This is humiliation. It's not public humiliation. Oh, that's still bad. Did you spend willpower?
Yes.
You lying piece of shit. I'll let you get away with it anyway.
I mean, I don't have to spend willpower.
That's fine.
You just sounded a little panicked there.
It's fine. You're fine. You barely keep control of your emotions. It's the sort of the kind of stress, the sort of the constant like hammering like in your head just kind of reaches a certain threshold, and you have to force yourself to remain seated. Like again, your face twists, and you clench your fists so tightly you could swear that that you've broken the skin and that you're lightly bleeding, but you're in control, if barely. This was obviously not a pleasant night for you. In fact, perhaps one of the cruelest.
On the other hand, the Seneschal's watching her pretty closely. She'll remember that later and be happy.
Yeah, and you still love him right now. Literally, because because oh how I love this character's build. He will he analyzes you, watches you very closely. Will put a hand on your shoulder. It is not as dark as it sounds, nor as bloody.
Perhaps, my lord.
But should you wish to leave and grieve in silence. I shall not keep you bound here any longer.
He still has his hand on her shoulder.
He's being nice.
If he still has his hand on her shoulder, she will not move.
Oh, I'll take it off.
She will sit there until he takes it off, and then she rises, only to drop back down to a deep curtsy.
He will bow to her. So she's not dirt. Wow. Man, she wishes she could be the dirt on his sandals right now.
She does not rise until he, like, if he bows to her, she stays curtsying.
He
With
bids
kind
her
of-
to rise.
Okay. And then
And
she
actually,
does.
no, because she's royalty, so she's expected to. Well, he's royalty, clearly. She would be expected. You would understand. What's your etiquette score?
Mm-hmm. 3.
Okay, yeah, you definitely know this. When you're in front of, it's kind of like when you're in front of His Majesty. You know, you remain bowed and back out of the room bowed.
Yeah, so she will do that.
The door is open for you by, by something, someone. And yes, you're able to depart from this room. Now that you think about it, you literally had this entire conversation in a glorified. Effectively, it affected what it is. You know, there's a Dark Ages office desk. The massive effects of awe, admiration, respect, fear, love for this person begin to slowly subside. And then actually fairly jarringly just disappear, but it still, well, it doesn't disappear, rather it jarringly stops. Like it fades and then is like as if there was no trace of him there at all. But the effects of it are still ringing in your mind, in your chest.
I really think she needs to roll Frenzy. I think that would be a very difficult transition. I'll let you. This is going to be where the dice fuck me, and I don't want to kill these guys. So,
let me check. Considering the absolute mental, just the mental annihilation you have gone through, could you roll me willpower?
Yes. Current or permanent?
Permanent.
Okay.
Standard difficulty. I will say if you want to spend a willpower on this roll, you can, because if you don't succeed, there will be long-lasting consequences.
Don't tempt me with long-lasting consequences. I have no willpower. She'll spend willpower.
That puts you down to poor willpower. Jesus Christ, poor Iohanna. Oh man,
One
she almost
success.
needed it. You get 2 successes with your spending willpower.
Wait. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because you're able to. be able to put aside the sort of the emptiness, the for the absence of these emotions, you're able to put them to one side in your head for now. Just put them away to kind of process later.
Mhm.
You literally forcibly suppress it. Iohanna does not process now. If you process now, as you said, she would be risking frenzy or worse. The door remains open, but the Seneschal does not exit. In fact, you can no longer see him in the room if you look back, which I assume, considering the ridiculously jarring emotional how to say, like, push you went through, like just kind of, well, this emotional halt, this kind of grinding halt that then just kind of sits there ringing like a massive echo in your skull. I assume you do, but if you don't, that's fine.
No, she will. She'll glance back.
Yeah, he's not there. He's gone. In fact, it doesn't appear like he was at it. Actually, yeah, roll me willpower difficulty 4.
Willpower? Okay.
Oh, let me just double check if it's permanent or current. It's only difficulty 4. Oh, he should probably do a thing as well. His thing is that. What's your wits alertness?
I'm sorry, wits awareness?
Wits alertness.
Is 5.
Yeah, no, you don't see him. He's gone. You, in fact, it's kind of hard for you to remember him even being there. Please roll me, wits plus courage diff 5.
It's plus courage, okay. 3 successes?
Okay, you remember him being there.
Because this would have been a very confusing night if he wasn't there.
Yeah, you remember him. You remember him being there. He was definitely there. Like he definitely. He's just you just can't see him right now. You're fairly certain. You look. As you look back into the room, at least the humans seem unaffected. Perhaps because they haven't seen him at all, and you have. But yes, you're able to leave in your grief before very, very sensitive guards that are very sensitive to your state of being and seem very concerned for you.
Yeah, she basically just collapses in the carriage and is like, take me home. I need to go feel so sorry for myself right now.
The guards do their utmost to make you feel comfortable and take you home as quickly and smoothly as they can. Iohanna doesn't probably notice this, but for the sake of it, because she would be able to perceive it, the apprentice boy is literally unconscious. Like you, however, he seemed to be in a state of immense emotional distress to the point where he was just curled up in a ball. Perhaps even the effects of what was happening to him, like the Seneschal himself, like his sheer grandeur just kind of caused him to literally lose consciousness, but you don't know. As he literally looked like an emotional wreck in a state of complete, almost as if he were torpid. Like he had cried himself unto death.
Johanna has no extra pity for anybody but herself right now, especially for the guy who hit her with a chair.
This is true. He hit you with a chair. Like, this is the least. The Seneschal treated you better than that. At least he didn't hit you with a chair.
He did hit me with a chair.
It's the one upside to this. At least the Seneschal did not strike me with a chair. But you're able to leave. You return to your haven. Is there anything, any parting words, any parting actions? What does Iohanna do when she gets home? What does she do?
She thanks her guards. She goes to her study and puts out the fire so that the room is dark, and just pulls one of the hangings from the wall that she's made, something rich and luxurious, and wraps it around her hands and just sits in the dark, looking at the unfinished projects scattered around the room. And just sits for some time until she goes to bed.
Does he sit there and you begin to grow tired? We'll end the scene as Iohanna's shadow takes the darkness for its own and continues to torment her until the dawn. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you Claire for playing.